Hey, I'm Johnny Mullet with another video. It is a radio communications video again, but this one is very important. If anybody's up with the latest news, we know what happened with the latest hurricane that came through Florida. And these people that live in Western North Carolina and Tennessee had no clue what was coming their way with all this rain and all this, flood surge that has destroyed entire communities. These people right now are in dire need of help, and the only communications that they have right now, believe it or not, is CB and ham radio. There are a couple ham radio repeaters out there where people are getting information from their local towns and who needs what and what's going on. Although the roads are impassable, I've been hearing that they have pack mules at this certain farm where they're using literal mules to transport survival goods and water and stuff like that. The stuff that these people need. They have no power, no electricity, no comms. And this could happen to anybody, anywhere in the country or the world for that matter. So I beg you guys, how important it is to have some kind of a backup radio plan for you and your family. And it doesn't cost you much. You can literally go on Amazon or whatever online site you'd like to order stuff and get you a cheap dual band radio. All right. The BaoFeng UV5R, very, very popular radio. They got new ones out, with bigger digital display, but the old school ones I like the best. This is my favorite radio. It's the UV82. And this one here has the best reception out of all the radios I have ever had. And I've had quite a few of these radios. Now, technically, you cannot transmit on this radio by law because it is not FCC approved. But when it comes to an emergency situation where you're in dire need of help, don't ever hesitate to key up. And what's important is if you buy one of these radios, you're not going to know how to use it. You're going to turn it on and you're going to see numbers and you're going to have no clue, and you're going to be, talking to the wind because there's nobody out there. So this is the important thing. If you do decide to get serious about communications, you can use a radio like this. And granted, you're not supposed to talk on certain frequencies, especially the ham bands. But there are frequencies that people have used, and you've seen me on my channel use FRS, Family Radio Service, or MERS, or GMRS, which requires a license. But in an emergency situation, you got to have some way to communicate. And the range on these, if you're standing out on your porch and you live in flat land, you can get up to 4.5, 5 miles. I already verified that on a previous video. So if you live in a town and you got friends and family, within that range, this is the way to go. And if you want to increase your range, you can get longer antennas. You can get an external antenna on your house to get even farther out there to make communication. So it's very, very important. I'm going to show you what to do if you purchase one of these radios. Like I said, I do suggest the UV82. It's a great radio. I think TID Radio on Amazon has one of these with 2 batteries for like $39.95. You can get extended batteries. For instance, this radio has an extended battery on it. Normally this radio is this big, but I got the extended battery, and it also has a charging port on the side. So if I can't plug my charger into the wall because the power's out, I can charge this radio from my mobile. So there's always that option too. So you got to think about those kind of things, and these extended batteries go a long way. Like I said, you can still get the extended battery for this radio also. Get spare batteries, have a few batteries, have a few radios. Once you get used to programming them and setting them up, I'm going to show you how to do that. You will not be left, without communications. All right? It's plain and simple as that. You will not be left without, you will not be sitting in the dark in your damaged property, running out of food, running out of water, and no one to help you, okay? So that's how important this is. Or maybe you're wondering, what about your brother, or your mom, your dad who lives, 4 or 5 miles away? Are they okay? I can't even go down the road because it's flooded or washed out or trees down or whatever. So take my word seriously. Get you something, at least something. I mean, for $25, you know, it might be a lifesaver. So let me show you how to program one of these radios so you can use the damn thing instead of just buying it and sticking it in your bag or your drawer and saying, hey, I got a radio. It ain't going to work for you, all right, unless you know how to program it. I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you will need is you also need a programming cable. These are also available online. Now, some of the older cables won't work with Windows 11. If you have that problem where it won't communicate, get a modern cable or search for Windows 11 compatible programming cable or something. You will eventually find the cable that works. If you have an old Windows 10 computer or even Linux, you probably won't have a problem. So let me show you how to do this real quick, because everybody should know how to program and have and own one of these radios just in case. All right, so here we go. Okay, now that you have your radio, you need to download the software so you can program it. So go to your favorite search engine, type in Chirp software. There you go, Chirp software download. So here is home, Chirp, that's the site you want. And you will see you've got Linux, Mac, and Windows. So you can go ahead and download the software onto your computer. And when you go to run it, it may come up with a warning, unverified, untrusted source, blah, blah, blah. I've never had a problem with this software, so go ahead and install the software. Once you have it installed, you got to find it on your computer. If it didn't put a thing on your desktop, go ahead and use your search. I'm using Windows 10, by the way, so we're going to type in Chirp, and it's already popping up. So you can see right there, Chirp app. We're going to click on that, and now it's going to open up Chirp. There you go. So now your brand new radio that you got from wherever you ordered it from, first thing you want to do is remove the antenna so it don't cause any kind of interference or anything like that. And you're going to take your programming cable, and you are going to plug the USB side into your USB port, one of them or whatever one you got. I think mine only has one, this little gateway laptop. So we're going to, as soon as I can find the hole, there we go. And then on the side of your radio, you got this little flapper deal, and you take the other end and you push it in, and make sure it is seated by pushing real hard, and make sure it's in there. Okay, so now we're going to go to File in the upper left corner. There's Edit, and then there's View, and you're going to go to Radio and hit Download from Radio. So here you got to make sure you got the right serial port. If you don't know which one it is, just try it. If it don't work, try another one. The radio is a BaoFeng, as you can see. So I got BaoFeng, and this model is the UV5R. So we got UV5R. So we're going to hit OK. Now there's the instructions. Connect, turn the radio off, connect the speaker and connector, make sure it's firmly connected. Turn on the radio, turn it all the way up. Now, if you hear it go beep, beep, and say something, you're probably not plugged in right. So we got it on, and we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And as you can see, the red light is flashing, and it is cloning from radio right now. So this is going to put what in your radio now is going to put it on a file for you that you can edit and change. So when mine pops up, it's going to have a bunch of frequencies on it. Yours is going to look different. Leave it plugged in, leave it on. Yours is going to have a few random numbers and stuff. Mine's already programmed. So there you go. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start with a clean slate. First thing, you want to file and you want to save this file that is originally in your radio. Just in case you screw anything up, you can put this original file back in. So go ahead and save that. Okay. And then once you do that, go ahead and click on this, whatever you can make blue. Okay. The top one, number 0 is good. You're going to hit, let's see, edit, select all. And then you're going to right click down here and hit delete. So we just deleted everything. We have a clean slate. There is nothing on here. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do now is we want to start at channel 1. It's the way to go, channel 1. We can go ahead and let me find it here. File, open stock config, okay? Now you're going to scroll down, and the first one you're going to look for is US FRS GMRS channels. Now that's going to open a new tab. Your radio is here, okay? Well, I don't know if you can see that. Your radio is, damn it, I don't even see where my mouse is. Let me see if I can do this. I hate this, but here we go. Your radio is right here. This is the US FRS channels that are right here. So if you click over here, you got your blank slate, that's your radio. You click over here, you got all the family radio service and GMRS frequencies, including repeaters. So what you want to do here is you want to highlight probably 0, file, select all, and then you're going to right click and you're going to hit copy. And then you're going to go to the tab where your radio is, start at the top one, right click and paste. And what's going to happen is this should give all those frequencies that you just looked up and put them on your radio. Let me see if we can do this again. Something didn't go right. Close. I don't know why that didn't go right. Select all, right click, copy, go to your radio. Maybe we'll try select all, right click and paste. And that didn't work. That is odd. I usually never had a problem with that. All right, let's just highlight the top one here and hit paste. And nothing going on, nothing going on. What the hell's going on? Edit, select all. They are all selected. Right click, copy. Go back to yours. Right click and paste. Not working. All right, normally this works and I don't know why it's not working. This is my radio and there's nothing on it. Paste. Select all. Right click. Paste. What is going on here? Right click, copy, back over here, right click and paste. Something screwy going on around here. All right, let's try it this way. Let's select, I'm gonna hold the control button down. And we're going to go ahead and just do it this way. We're going to see if we can get all the FRS channels on there. I don't know why this is screwing up like this, but we're going to come down here and select all the FRS channels. There should be 22 of them. 22. 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Right click, copy. And we're going to go to your naked radio and we're going to start here and hit right click and paste. Hey, that worked. I don't know why, but now if you see I'm started here at number 2, I'm going to go ahead and right click and we're going to delete this memory and shift all up. Okay, that was kind of a weird roundabout way to do it. For some reason, it wouldn't let me select all of those frequencies at once. I don't know why, but it just wouldn't do it. So I don't know why. Kind of weird. So let's scroll on up here to our next batch, which would be number 23. And we're going to go over here to the GMRS frequencies. All right. So let's just start here. I'm going to hold control down and we're going to go ahead and select all these GMRS frequencies, as many as your screens can see. and I screwed up. We're going to start over again. Very easy to do. Control, keep going down the line, down the line. Don't get mad. Don't get impatient. It takes time to make perfection. So right now we're working on the GMRS frequencies. Do not ask me why select all did not work. I have no clue, but at least I found a way around it. So there we are up to GMRS 22. Okay, we're going to hit right click, copy, go back to your radio, the next open slot here. We're going to hit right click and paste. And that didn't work at all. Let me try this again. Let's highlight it to blue. Hit right click and paste. There we go. See, a little bit of trial and error, but it's totally worth it. So right now my radio, it don't have them programmed in, but I have a setup. Excuse me, I gotta I need some water. So right now your radio is going to have all the family radio service frequencies and all of the GMRS frequencies, which is really, really cool. So now, since we got a little bit more to go here, scroll up. Now, maybe in your case, when you hit select all, it'll all work at once and you don't have to do what I'm doing. So I'm going to hold control again, and we're going to select these last several frequencies. And I screwed up. No, there, we saved it. We saved it. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. And we got them all. We're going to right click. We're going to copy. If you don't know how to copy and paste, you got to learn now because you're going to need it. And we're going to make it blue. Right click and paste. There we go. Now we have the repeater frequencies in there. So right now we have 52 programs installed there. Isn't that freaking cool? All right, now, since we are done with US, FRS, and GMRS channels, we're going to go ahead and close that. We don't need to save that. And we are going to go to File, Open Stock Config, and now we want to go down to the MERS channels. Click on that, and a new tab opens up. We have MERS 1 through 5. So we're going to go ahead and do it the way it's working for me and just go ahead and select them here. Let's see, we'll try it again. Control 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right click, copy, and go back to my radio. And we're going to make the next line blue. Right click and paste. There we go. Look at that. Now we have blue dot, green dot, and 3 of the MERS channels, which are actually 5 MERS channels. So since we are done with MERS, what are we going to do now? Well, let's go do some ham frequencies. So we go to File again, Open Stock Config, and we have US calling frequencies. Okay. These dual band radios are 2 meter and 70 centimeters. So this 6 meter isn't going to help you, and neither to 220. So what you want to do is 2 meter call. You're going to right click and copy. Go back to your radio. The next line, make it blue. Right click and paste. There's the 2 meter call. Now we're going to go and find the 70 centimeter call. Right click and copy that one. And go back to your radio. The next line, and right click and paste. Now we have FRS, GMRS, MERS, and the 2 call frequencies for ham radio. What a call frequency is it's not a ham repeater. It is basically radio to radio communication. So if a ham radio operator is traveling somewhere, he'll be on one of these 2 frequencies and break out his call sign. Hey, this is KPZ, whatever, blah, 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 and we're listening. And if somebody hears them, they'll come back to them and they can communicate back and forth as long as they are within range. So that is what that is for. You should not transmit on these frequencies unless it's a dire emergency. Now, we have many, many options here. Would you like to get, weather channels? Weather channels would be great. So if we're done with this, we'll close it. We'll go back to File, Open from Stock Config, and we got marine channels. We got weather channels. Let's see what we got in the weather channels. Oh, it looks like we got like 10 of them. So you can add all of these on there, but let me show you something real quick if you do end up adding weather channels. It's nice to have weather channels on your radio, but if you're going to use your radio as a scanner, You do not want these to pop up because it's a constant transmit. So let's try this. Right click, copy, and we're going to go back to our normal. We're going to make the next line blue. Oops, I just screwed up. It's okay. If you screw up, I screw up. Right click and paste. There we go. Now, here's the important part. With the weather channels, if you look in the upper right, it says skip. You want to skip these channels. The reason you want to skip them is you can still access them manually, but if you use your radio to scan with, you want that letter S to show up. So when you scan your BaoFeng, you're not picking up you're going to constantly stop on the weather channel because it's a constant transmission. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit skip on all of these. This might be a lengthy video, but I'm trying to teach you how to do this so you know what to do. There is so much, we're not even there yet. We got so much more to go. So if you're still with me, man, stick it out. We can do it. We can do it. We're going to skip all these frequencies. You're not actually skipping them. They will be in your radio, but when you hit the scan button on your radio, it will not pick up the weather channels, but you can manually go to them. So that's that. All right, and we're going to skip the last weather channel. So now we have all the weather channels in our radio, and we're up to 69 frequencies are already ready to go. So since we're done with the NOAA weather, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Well, let's see. We got the stock config. We already got that. There's the marine channels. I mean, that's pretty cool, but here's what I'm going to do as far as the marine channels go. U.S. Marine VHF channels. We're going to open that, okay? Now, you're going to see a whole bunch of frequencies, but there's only one you need, and that is C16, okay? That is also known as the SOS channel. So you're going to right-click on that one frequency. You're going to copy it. So that is 156,800. 156,800. And we're going to go down to the next line. We're going to right-click and paste. There we go. We now have the SOS Marine channel on there. If you live near a body of water, you will hear stuff on these frequencies. So now here comes, that was the easy part, believe it or not. That was the easy part. Now comes the hard part. What else do you want on your radio? In my opinion, these are the essentials. These would allow you to listen to anybody with an FRS walkie-talkie. You'll be able to listen to anybody, as long as they're in range, on a GMRS radio. You'll be able to hear anybody on a MERS station, maybe even like Home Depot and Walmart and stuff like that. You will hear anybody within range on the ham call frequencies. You will have all the weather channels in your radio, so that's cool too. So here is where it gets kind of difficult, okay? Do you want ham frequencies on? What you're going to get is repeaters, ham repeaters. And what these are is somewhere in your area, almost every area in the United States is going to have a tower somewhere with a ham radio repeater. And any handheld or base or mobile radio that can hit that repeater will be repeated and broadcast out so everybody can hear, which is pretty cool. So having ham frequencies is kind of important. But when I do a ham frequency, I do put it on skip, because once these ham guys get going, man, whew, they don't stop talking. So if you want to listen to them, you can manually, turn your radio on and use the up and down buttons and find those ham frequencies and go ahead and listen in. You'll hear somebody talking. So do you want ham frequencies? Yeah, maybe not a bad idea. So now we got to go to radio, and we're going to hit query source, and radio reference doesn't seem to work, but repeater book does, okay? So let's hit repeater book. So United States amateur radio, choose a state. I'm going to choose Pennsylvania, and let's see, it says only certain bands. So the only bands that are going to work is 2 meter and 70 centimeter. So choose only those two and hit OK. And then you're going to hit OK again. And here we go. Look at this. We got we got a slew of frequencies. All right. We're talking hundreds and hundreds, and you ain't going to have room to add all these. What you have to do, though, is you have to find out which of these are near your area. Let's suppose you live in Erie, Pennsylvania. You got to scroll around and find, Erie, Pennsylvania. If you live in Altoona, Blair County, there's one. They're like Blue Knob, that is near Altoona, Pennsylvania. There's Bedford. I mean, so if you lived in that area, you can even open up your Google and see which ones are closest to you and find these frequencies. You know what I'm saying? And then find the ones that are near you. So I actually live in Ohio, but there are ham radio repeaters that I can hear in Erie County, Pennsylvania. So here's one near Erie County, Pennsylvania. So there we go. And do I want to add that one? Well, it's already got the tone and the tone mode and the offset, and everything is there. So you don't have to mess with anything. So like I said, this is going to be the time consuming part. So you're going to go ahead and hit right click and copy and go back to your radio. Let's get the next line blue, right click and paste. Hey, look at that. Somebody, whoops. Oh, see, now it says DN mode not supported. Well, guess what? I cannot use that one. So if you see this one that says DN, that's not going to work. That's digital. You're going to need FM frequencies. So here we go. This is, like I said, the time consuming part. Do you want ham frequencies on there? Sure, why not? Here we go. Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. All right. N8XUA. All right, that one there is going to work. So it's already got the tone mode, the tone and the offset and everything you need to do. You don't have to do this manually. It's all right there. You go ahead and right click. See, now I'm glad I screwed up. Here we go. Right click, copy, and we're going to go to your radio. You're going to hit the next line, make it blue, and right click and paste. Bam, look at that. You got your first ham radio frequency, ham radio repeater on your BaoFeng. That's going to take some time. Yes, you're going to have to go through and find out. Now, normally, I use my radios as a scanner. I don't transmit on them. I'm going to skip it because, like I said, the ham guys, once they get going, they don't stop and you're not going to hear anything else. So now, what are you going to do? Well, you can add your local fire departments. You can add your local police departments, unless they're digital. You can add your local emergency, channels so you can hear what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So there's where you're going to have to do some more research. This is where you're going to have to go to your favorite web browser, and you're going to have to try to find, let's see, radio frequencies, radio frequency database. There you go. Boom. So you search, and there's radio reference. It's okay, but there are better ones out there. I mean, so here we go. Let's go ahead. Radio frequency is a big one. It's the most popular one, but man, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So welcome to the radio reference database. So you can hit browse, and you're going to click the map below. Let's suppose you live in Ohio, and then your county. I'm in Ashtabula County. So we don't want trunked. We don't want any of that, but we got public safety and all that, hospitals and stuff like that. So here's where you do your research. All right. It's got to be an FM station, and it's got to be within your frequency range of your radio. And you can go ahead and add these manually. You're not going to be able to copy and paste these. You're going to have to manually add these to, like, here's Conneaut Police Dispatch. That's north of me, up near the lake. So 155-625. All right. So let's go back to your radio. You found your first fire department. All right. So you're going to go here, and you're going to type, I already forgot. Oh, let's try it again. Conneaut, Ohio. Where was it? 155-625. 155-625. Don't forget it. So we're going to go back here. 155.625. And then fill in the zeros. And then you're going to name it. You're going to name this one. Okay, it's Conneaut Fire Department. So you're going to name where it says name to, let's just make it simple. You can't go too crazy. Con FD. There you go. And you don't have to add anything else. You don't have to skip it, because if you're scanning and something pops up, you're going to hear it while you're scanning. So you got a whole lot of memories left here. 128 to be, precise. So you can keep researching, find the local fire departments, find the local EMS. If the frequency don't work, you can always come back in here on Chirp and delete it radio. So let's say that you're done, okay? You got a whole bunch of stuff on here and you're ready. You're like, all right, here we go. So what you're gonna have to do, if you're sure you're done, let's go into the settings before we upload your radio. Carrier squelch level. Okay, this is your basic settings. I know this is a long video, I'm sorry, but if you're still with me, these are also important. Battery saver, I normally leave off. Squelch level, 4 is okay. I like 3. Some people like 6. If it's too low, you can change it, okay? So timeout timers, 240, that's only for talking. You don't have to worry about it. Display mode A, all right? You want that to be name. Okay, so make sure that's on name, not channel or frequency. Or I'm sorry, you want that on name. Yes, I am correct, name. Just to verify that I'm not screwing up, I'm going to open one of my already saved frequencies here to make sure I'm working here. So boom, let's going to open that one. This is one of my that's already done. And I go into my settings here, and I have the carrier at 2. I have backlight timer, blah, name and frequency. There you go, name and frequency. So back to your radio, you want that to be name, and you want display mode B to be frequency. The standby colors, whatever color you like. In my opinion, orange is the most readable. So you can change these two, standby and RX, to the same color, either purple or blue or whatever color you want. I like orange. Transmit color, go ahead and leave that on off. You don't want the thing to light up while you're transmitting. Roger beep, do not check the box. Now we're going to go to the advanced settings. All right, and we're going to go ahead and go down through here. Let's see, scan resume, okay? Now here's what happens. When you hit scan on your radio, it's going to stop at a frequency when it's picking something up. And there is CO and TO, okay? Those are the two that you have to worry about. Timeout would mean it's going to time out after a certain amount of time and then keep scanning. If you have it on CO, it's going to carrier out, which means whenever that person stops transmitting and there's no other communications, it'll continue to scan. So I like to leave mine on carrier out. If you're having your ham frequencies not skipped and you want to hear them, you might want to put them on timeout, because like I said, they keep going. Broadcast FM radio, yes. Let's see, reset menus. Okay, that's pretty much all you need to know. There's some other settings. You can personalize it. Power on message, mullet. When you first turn the radio on, it's going to say mullet. These are your frequencies, 136 to 174. Like I said, when you are searching frequencies, you got to make sure you're between 136 and 174 on these frequencies that you're looking up. And that also goes for the other side, 400 megahertz to 520. So you can't get anything from 175 to 399, all right? So those are your frequencies, leave those alone. And let's see, power on message, which power on message 1 is mullet. There you go. These other 3 you really don't want to mess with. If you're all done, go back to your memories, make sure they're all there. And you know what? I am done programming my radio. I want to program my radio. So, just like you did at the beginning, radio, okay? Upload to radio. And it's going to have these 2 already blanked out so you don't screw up. It's the same radio that you downloaded with, and you're going to hit OK. And when it does, the light's going to blink and your radio is going to be programmed. So mine's already done. You should have no problem after this. Now, that you programmed your own personal radio, you turn it on. We're going to turn it off first and put the antenna back on. Of course, make sure your radio was on when you were doing all that, otherwise it's not going to work. We're going to screw the antenna back on it. There we go. We can close that and turn it on. My personalized message should come up.
Channel mode.
It says channel mode. Now, you want to make sure you're in channel mode. If you turn it on and it says frequency mode, hit this AB button. Okay, I'm sorry, I screwed up. Hit this upper VFO button.
Frequency mode.
See, that is frequency mode. So all you see is the frequencies. Go back to channel mode.
Channel mode.
Excuse me. So now I am on channel mode. Now, these, I know it's not lit up, but
0.
see how upper and lower, if you hit the AB button, that moves the arrow down to the lower side, which is the frequency. So if I was on channel, let's see, the weather channel, which one is, I know the light went out, it's hard to see.
2, 3, 2, 4.
That is one of the weather channels right there. 162.400 is channel 24. If I go back to A and I go up to channel 24,
2, 2, 4.
that is weather channel number 1, the same as this, weather channel number. So this is the same exact channel, up and down. Excuse me again. So these are the same, exactly. So now, if you want to scan with this radio, leave it on the upper part so you see what channel it is, and hold the scan button down.
Scanning begin.
It says scanning begin. If we're lucky, something will come on. If not, hey, it is what it is. So right now you are scanning all the frequencies that you put into your radio from Chirp, unless it has a S next to it. So it's not going to pick up the weather channels. It's not going to pick up any channel that you put the skip next to, because you don't want it to stop on weather channels because it'll stay there. So now I'm using the radio as a scanner, which is cool. Now let's get back to the emergency part. If you want to stop scan, hit scan again. Let's assume there's an emergency situation, okay?
8,
Now,
9.
technically, you cannot legally transmit on these radios, but in an emergency situation, hey, you got that option. So what you can, but I'm not going to tell you, do not transmit on emergency fire departments and SOS channels. Do not transmit on those channels. You will get in big trouble, okay? So if you want to talk to somebody in an emergency, you can use
3, 2, 3, 3.
any of these MERS channels, okay? You can use GMRS, but that requires a license. So what I prefer to do is use FRS frequencies. You got 12 of them to choose from. So pick a channel. Say, hey, me and my neighbor are going to be on FRS channel 6. And if anything ever happens, we can turn on our radio and talk back and forth on family radio service number 6. Don't make a habit of it. Don't keep talking, because this is not an FCC approved radio, but it will get the job in an emergency situation. If the power is out, the phones are down, you can talk to somebody on your handheld radio as long as you are in range. All right, so now that you got your radio programmed, how do you use it? Okay, you turn the radio on, and then there's that scan button there. You can scan all the frequencies and just let it go. If you pick up a frequency and it's getting all just static and noise, try moving. Try going to a different window or something like that. And if it keeps going on and it's, getting you upset, go back to your program and delete that frequency or skip that frequency. This way you won't hear it on your scan. Maybe you are just out of range for that frequency at home and it's doing that static thing. So you can go ahead and skip it, and if you drive around, maybe later you want to go find that frequency, maybe you can hear something. Now, when I showed you the AB button that moves you from up and down, I have the bottom frequency set at the local weather channel. So when I hit
At Miri International Airport, it was partly sunny.
There you go. So on the bottom line is the weather channel. I can access it with a push of a button. And then I can go back to the upper section where all my channels are, and I can scan or listen or whatever. Another cool thing is there is this orange button right here. It'll give you FM radio. So that's kind of cool too. You can, if you're not picking up radio, you know, you hit the button and you type in, for instance, that was 107.5. Hit the orange button, hit 107.500. Boom, you're there. Whatever your local radio station is, 98.9, it'll be 98.900, and boom, you got your FM radio, you got your ham radio. You got your walkie-talkie radio. You got everything all right here in one radio. And like I said, in an emergency situation, you and your neighbors or friends, if you all get these radios and you figure out how to program these right and get them working, hand them out to your neighbors, hand them out to your friends. Say, hey, if anything ever happens, make sure you're on this channel, okay? And we can talk, all right? It's for an emergency situation. Otherwise, I don't recommend talking on these because they're not FCC regulated radios, but that's what's cool about it. They're more powerful than your standard walkie-talkie that you buy at Walmart and stuff. So in an emergency situation, these radios come in really handy. And for my use, I use them as a scanner, all right? I just literally, this one here has better reception. And I put this thing right in my window and just let it scan. And I can pick up, sorry about that, I can pick up all kinds of stuff on that radio. I've already went through the the crap where I get a staticky channel that keeps interfering. I hook it back to my computer. I go ahead and skip that frequency or whatever. I also take the radio with me and pop it up in my sun visor while I'm traveling and scan. You can hear all kinds of stuff when you're traveling on these radios. And if you really want the best reception, get you an external, like a magnet mount dual band antenna. Get you a magnet mount dual band antenna. If you got a metal roof, slap that baby up there on that metal roof and run the cord into your house and get the adapter and screw it in. It would be 10 times better. You're going to pick up so much more stuff. If you don't have a metal roof, get you a freaking pizza pan or a baking sheet and get it up there somewhere on the roof and stick the magnet mount right up there on that metal pan. Make sure the metal pan is secured to your roof. That'll be enough ground plane for it to work. So I hope you all learned something today. This was a long video. I normally don't do videos this long, but I think it's very important that everybody should have some sort of backup plan. Yes, I'm a CB guy. I love CB radio. And CB is great for local comms. I mean, I can talk up to, 50, 60 miles in my car because I use a sideband radio. And that's really cool. But there is one stipulation about CB radio. During the middle of a day, you turn on that radio, you are hearing stations from all over the country and the world coming in super loud, and you can't even talk to your buddy 5 miles away because of that. CB radio is very useful, early morning or nighttime, but until this solar cycle passes, CB is kind of hard to use in the middle of the day with all the propagation and skip coming in from all over the world and all over the country. So I'm not going to ever downgrade CB radio because I love it. Early morning, late at night, I can talk and talk. On my base station, I can talk 100 miles. But like in the middle of the day, even though I have a huge tower and a good radio, I can't talk to my buddy who's 15 miles away because of all the noise and static. So there it is. I hope you all learned something today. That was a long video. I'm tired now. Anyway, get you a dual band radio. This way you have an emergency plan. Don't just buy one of these and shove it in your drawer and say, hey, I got a radio, because it ain't going to do you any good unless you know how to program frequencies into it. And if you're having problems with, doing the frequency, keep trying. Eventually you'll get it, man. It took me a while and I got it figured out. So that's the best I can tell you. And if you know somebody who has one, has one of these and already has a program, hey, can you program my radio for me? It's as simple as that. So get your emergency communications online and get them going now before the emergency happens. So 515 Buckeye, Mullet Man, Johnny Mullet, we're out. Have a great day.